Learn how to make Nigerian fermented cassava fufu recipe without pounding, a step-by-step method of preparation, especially for beginners. In this video, you will learn tricks, twists, and tips on how to achieve the perfect consistency for that wonderful fufu, which you can definitely pair with any soup of your choice. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queen. You're watching Queen Varieties channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share my video at the same time. Follow all my social media platforms. Let's get right into it. Thank you. For this recipe, I'll be using precisely 10 tubers of cassava roots. What I'm going to do right now is to remove them from my board and then begin to divide them into little chunks. Remind you that peeling the skin out of the cassava roots is definitely optional. It's unnecessary. Yes, in Igbo land, what we normally do is wash the cassava entirely and then soak everything for a period of 5 to 7 days and allow to ferment. Transfer it to the sink, rinse it properly just to eliminate all dirt from it. Once that step is completed, to this I'll be adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda just to help with the activation of the fermentation process. This step is important, especially if you're not using freshly harvested cassavas. Now I'll place everything inside the water, cover the entire surface with water and allow to ferment for 5 to 7 days. This is very, very important to eliminate the poisonous effect of the cyanide that contains in most of the African Nigerian cassava species.
Today is exactly 5 to 7 good days since the fermentation process began, and guys, we are now ready to go over to the next step of preparation. This is what it looks like. If you don't see this sign on your cassava, it means that the fermentation process did not take place. Now look at what we have here. To pour this on this bowl is very My friends, so right now I feel so disappointed because unfortunately my cassava is not fully fermented. Now there are some factors that can play a role in this. Yes, so it depends on the species of cassava that you're using. At the same time, it can also be the weather or the environmental factor. Sometimes when you buy a cassava from the shop, you don't know how long the cassava has stayed in the shop before you finally bought it, and so it can also play a huge role. So even though I soaked this with baking soda, it did not work. To cut the long story short, my cassava is not fully fermented. Buying cassava here in Denmark is extremely super expensive. So am I going to throw this away? No. We are going to try another approach. Some of them are well fermented while the other ones are not fully fermented, and unfortunately I have eliminated the water. I will dice them into little chunks, throw them into the blender and crush it down. So in my kitchen there is no waste. If plan A does not work, you go for plan B. Add water to the blender. This is going to help it. This up now and go and have it crushed down. Transfer to this bowl here. Now look at how beautiful that looks. You see, necessity is the mother of invention. Alright, you can see the outcome of the entire quantity. We are going ahead now to sieve it. I've placed a bowl with my sieve. You have to use a sieve that can easily catch any rough particles. Cross the one we have in the blender. Oh, see, it crosses so smoothly. As easy as ABCD, you can't even believe it. In less than 2 minutes, I'm done with this. Look closely, you still notice some little chunks of chaff. This is the ones we are going to eliminate. Just a newly purchased pillowcase. Yes, we have to improvise because the cheesecloth I have is a very small one. Okay, so this is a cotton based pillowcase, newly bought, not used before. Place the pillowcase inside here. I'm going ahead now to pour in the batter. Just allow this to drain excess liquid for like, let's say 1 hour, 2 hours or thereabouts. Yes, we're not going to allow it to dry too much. Remember, this is abroad fufu. We're not going to pound it. To hasten this process, I'm going to place a very heavy object on top of it. My beautiful people, you're all welcome back. 1 to 2 hours later, we are now ready to start once again. This is no longer dropping too much liquid out of the bag. This is what it is looking like. Let's transfer our fufu. Our LOI-LOI is ready. Hey, Jehovah. Check out this lady here. Okay, alright, so back home what we normally do is to mold this into balls and cook it for the first method for like 5 minutes. All you have to do is to place maybe green leaves in the pot, maybe banana leaves, or you can even put it in the plastic wrap and cook it for 5 good minutes. Okay, yes, after allowing it to boil for 5 minutes, you bring it out, pound it. After pounding all of them, then you repeat the same process again. So you put it inside boiling water for the second time and boil for 5 to 10 minutes. You pound and pound until everything is smoothly pounded, and then your fufu is ready. Alright, so just in case you don't want to make all the quantity, you can transfer some of them inside a cling film and transfer to the freezer and freeze it. Okay, in the freezer it can stay as long as you want it to stay. Once I'll be storing them frozen. I'm going to drizzle in some little quantity of water, bring it back to a smooth paste, and I'll drizzle little olive oil to it so it will not stick into the pot or thereabouts. This is between 0 to number 9. At this stage, I will turn the heat to number 4 and then start the kneading process. The quantity of liquid you add depends on how you want your fufu to turn out. Don't make the mistake of using high heat to start. You just have to use medium heat. Alright, so you have to keep stirring to avoid any kind of lumps from forming. So as you keep stirring it, you notice that the base of the pot is cooking. Just be stirring. Now you notice I did not add too much water. That depends on the consistency of fufu you like to enjoy. You have to start in a thickened way. Later, if you need water, we can of course add water to it. So this is the consistency of the fufu that we are having right now. At this stage, we are now lump free. Now I don't know if you can see well. If you look into the pot, you will notice that some segments are becoming creamy in color, while we still have the other side that stays super white in nature. The color we are going for, you want the whole apple to be creamy in nature and not too white. You don't have to overcook it, but at the same time it has to be completely cooked to avoid eating raw cassava. Now this thickness is too hard. I will sprinkle in some water and allow it to cook for 5 minutes.
Take it again. You say sprinkle, not pour.
Alright, I'm going to pour in a little bit of water, just a little bit, to produce some steam to help the fufu to cook and then relax a bit. Let this for at least 5 minutes to cook down. After that, then we'll go forward. Welcome back. This is 5 to 8 minutes later. So we're going to give this pot a good stir. I'll just add a bit more water to soften it a bit in for just 3 minutes, and then I'll serve it. Okay, you can see how beautiful it looks. It's completely cooked. Oh my goodness, this is your alright beauties. So this is how you can make your fufu without going through the pounding process. Yes, I hope I have been able to encourage you to follow my channel, subscribe, share this video, like, and also comment. Show your girls some love. It's not easy stirring this thing. I also went through a lot of stress to find this cassava fufu for you. You can see the fufu now is completely ready. We are having and even color, appearance and texture. See how elastic it looks. In my previous video I gave you a softer texture of fufu. In this video I gave you the authentic Nigerian Akpu. This is it, LOI-LOI, SANTANA, white horse. You can see that, guys. Look at that. Your fufu is ready. You can use a cling film like this to foil it, like I have always shown you in my previous videos. But for the authentic Igbotic way of making fufu, this is how we serve it to our fathers, grandfathers in the Igbo way. I placed your fufu here. You're going to use some water to push it in, and with your hands you're going to knead it. If it is feeling sticky like you can see here, sprinkle in water in there. You want the plate to be moist. Here your hands are going to do the job for you. So once you're done doing it like this, then you're going to use your hands, give it a good shape, and then you're going to turn. And once you turn, you bring the plate that you're going to present it in and drop it. All right, my beautiful people, so this is our cassava fufu. That's our beautifully made cassava fufu.